Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we discuss all things financial literacy. And today we're going to be talking about $100,000 that you can get in business lines of credit for a brand new LLC with no business plan and no business income. So if you're looking for ways to build wealth and grow your income, then this is, the right place for you. And this is the right video because we're going to be talking about these powerful strategies to fast track your financial success. Now, specifically, we'll be discussing how you can use business lines of credit to invest in income producing assets and scale your wealth. So if you're ready to learn how to leverage your business credit for long-term financial success, then let's jump right into the video. Now, once again, we're talking specifically about business lines of credit. A business line of credit is a revolving credit account that your business can access when needed, much like a credit card. But the best part is you only pay interest on the amount of money that you borrow, and you can reuse the credit line as you repay it. The number one reason to open a business line of credit is to gain access to short-term funding. So most businesses use these funds to support their business financing or operational expenses like supplies or payroll, or for increasing their inventory. In some instances, businesses may also use a line of credit to jumpstart growth initiatives that require some additional funding. So this is normal. So many businesses often rely on an unsecured line of credit as a source of off-season working capital, in between times when you do need some sort of funding in order to keep the business afloat or to make additional income. And unlike many small business loans, an unsecured line of credit is not designed for a specific purpose or purchase. I just did a video on SBA loans. Some of those have specific indications of, what they need to be used for. When it comes to a line of credit, pretty much anything that you so choose to use this for, it can be done. So it's a good choice for small businesses looking for ways to better manage cash flow. Funds are typically drawn from a line of credit by using a business checking account or a small business card, or even like a mobile app that you can use to transfer funds. Now, when I was approved for the cash flow manager with US Bank, they actually gave me a card. It looks just like a credit card, but it's for the cash flow manager, which is a business line of credit. It has $25,000 for the line, and I can spend it and use it the same way I would use a card, or I can also transfer the money in cash to my account and withdraw it and have cash or wire it, however I would see fit to send those funds. So when we look at lines of credit, these are just leveraging tools that we could use just like business credit cards, just like loans, and we're just trying to use them to acquire income producing assets. So that way we don't have to constantly work for money. Our money can work for us. Last year, I successfully applied and was approved for over 20 plus business credit cards. And since then, I've accumulated well over $250,000 in business funding. I'm probably now creeping up on right around $300,000 to $400,000 actually. Now, I did this all in 12 months, starting from a $200 secured credit card in January of 2024. And every part of my journey is documented on this channel. In the same 12 months, I've published over 250 videos. I bring this up because I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a guru. I don't even see myself as a YouTuber, even though I'm just uploading to YouTube to get information out. I'm just a regular person, just like you. And because of that, I think that it even makes this information more prudent because you're getting it from a regular everyday person just like you. So with that being said, if you're someone who's new to business credit and you're trying to leverage, I highly recommend that you look at business lines of credit. In the same time that it took me to get around that $250 some odd $1,000 in credit line, you can actually get the same thing with only a few business lines of credit without having to get multiple credit cards, right? So the business lines of credit, they're an ideal tool for entrepreneurs and investors who need flexibility and fast access to cash. And you can use business lines of credit to buy real estate, start a franchise, or even invest in other income producing assets and watch your cash flow grow. So next, let's get into the difference between lines of credit and credit cards. Since the credit limits with business lines of credit are usually quite high, business lines of credit are typically used as short to mid-term financing solutions for expensive items that you intend to pay over time. For example, if you intend to get $150,000 worth of equipment, your business credit card may not have the limit that you need. And while you can stack multiple or you can try to raise your limit, it's so much easier to use this with a business line of credit. Furthermore, the interest that you pay on a business line of credit is typically lower than what you would with a credit card. Even though there are some people who probably are aware that there are 0% APR credit cards, it's a promotion. Sometimes they last for 18 months. Sometimes they last for a certain amount of time. And once again, while you can stack multiple of these cards up and try to have 15 or 20 0% APR cards, eventually they will run out and you'll have to figure out what your next step is going to be. In most instances, to qualify for a business line of credit, you would need to have a certain credit score requirement that could be from a 680 recommended all the way up to 850 if your credit score was that high. Now, this can vary from lender to lender. They also will normally require a 2-year history of business operations, sometimes a business plan, sometimes 2 years of business tax returns. But in the last few months, I've been heavily focused on SBA loans and business lines of credit. And what I found is that you can qualify for some of these without actually needing to submit all this required documentation. By doing this, you don't have to spend so much time applying for multiple credit cards and trying to stack them constantly, having to remember multiple due dates. You just have these 4 different accounts that you can use and you'll be able to access up to $100,000. These aren't the only ones. You can actually find a lot more. I may do videos covering those as well. And then maybe I'll make a compilation where you can get up to maybe 400 to even, let's say, 1 million if we can find enough. However, these are the ones that I've personally vetted and that I know will work. Now, at the time of recording this video, these are the 4 banks that do not require you to present proof of business income or a business plan in order for you to qualify for these business lines of credit: American Express, Wells Fargo, First Citizens, and US Bank. But you do need to keep in mind that lenders do require some information, and that's going to be based on their individual criteria, but we will discuss this. Now, I want to give you all the data points up front for general approval criteria. I recommend having a credit score of at least 680. I also recommend that you have less than 3 hard inquiries in the last 6 months. I also recommend that you have this for Experian and Equifax. I live in the state of Nevada, and I will give you all of the hard inquiries and pulls for each of these banks. For American Express, it's Experian. I believe this is to be across the board, no matter which state that you are currently in. Wells Fargo also pulls from Experian as well. First Citizens will pull from Experian and Equifax, and US Bank will also pull from Equifax. Now, I do want you to keep in mind this can be different depending on your state. Some of these have geographical pulls. So you still want to make sure that you have a high credit score with Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Hopefully this will just be a good reference that may give you an idea of where they might pull from. I also recommend having a structured business with a FICO small business score of at least 155 or higher. When you request these business lines of credit, you do not ask for more than $25,000. A few of these lines of credit, I believe, are SBA backed, and the SBA requires lenders to obtain collateral to secure loans from all owners of the business. And this can be in the form of a personal guarantee or other qualified collateral. However, they do not require collateral if you are requesting $25,000 or less. That is why that is my recommended amount for you. Now, if you request $25,000 from American Express, from Wells Fargo, from First Citizens, and from US Bank, you will achieve your goal of $100,000. And I do believe that you could do this all in like the same week, if not potentially the same day. Currently, we are looking at the American Express business line of credit. If you do have American Express, you can be pre-approved for this line of credit. If you are pre-approved, this can range from $2,000 to $250,000. And it says only select customers receive the initial line size of over $150,000. Once again, only get up to $25,000. If you want to raise it as you go, then you can, but expect that they will request documentation or they will review your business bank account. Okay. Now, here are the requirements for this business line of credit from American Express. You need to be at least 18 years of age if you are applying. You also need to have a business that is at least 1 year old. Yes, it does need to at least be 1 year old. Now, each of the lenders on this list will require some sort of tenure, but be aware that this is the longest one. This is the longest one. And for a new business, 1 year is not that long. Okay. You do need to have a FICO score of at least 660 at the time of application. You also need to have a recent monthly revenue of at least $3,000, which means you only need to have $3,000 times 3 or 4 in your business bank account. That is it. If you have that, and your business is 1 year old and you have a FICO score of at least 660, an Experian FICO score, then you should be good to go with this business line of credit, and you should be able to get up to $25,000. And it says, how do you apply for the business line of credit? And to make the application process smoother, you will need your business tax ID, your social, the industry of your business, and estimated gross revenue for your business. And you will also need to link a business bank account to your application, and you can follow the steps here. I do want to make note that I tried to link my Navy Federal business account, and for whatever reason, I was not able to link it. It did not recognize it as a business account. Why? I can't tell you, but just be aware that that may end up being an issue. If it is, you need to contact American Express, call them, and they can do a manual review for you. Now, with this business line of credit, you want to know your installment loans. There's 6, 12, 18, and 24-month terms. So when you withdraw the funds, you can pick the term that you would like, where you can pay this back in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, and 24 months. The lower the time frame that you choose, the lower the interest. On the flip side, the higher the time frame, the higher the interest will be for the money that you borrowed. Now, the next business line of credit that we're looking at is from Wells Fargo. I want you to note that Wells Fargo has 2 different products. The one that you're going to be looking for is the Wells Fargo Small Business Advantage line of credit for customers in business less than 2 years. There is no annual fee. It can range from $5,000 to $50,000 for a revolving line of credit, and its rates as low as the prime rate plus 4.5%. There's also automatic enrollment in a free rewards program. Now, here are the things to consider when it comes to the Wells Fargo business line of credit. Typically, they want you to have a FICO score of at least 680. Again, this will pull from Experian. Only request $25,000 for this line. If you want to increase it later, then you can, but to start, just request $25,000. For First Citizens Bank, I did contact them and ask about their business line of credit. I asked if they requested any documentation. They told me they do not. They told me where they pull from, but I also have one of their business credit cards. And for their small business line of credit, it seems like a fairly easy process. The only thing that I would say is a drawback is that you do have to go into a branch and speak with someone. That is for all their products, for their credit cards, everything you have to go in branch. It should be a hard pull from Equifax and Experian. I'm in the state of Nevada. It can change for you. Now, this bank is not available everywhere, so you may not be able to actually apply with First Citizens. You'll have to check and see if they are in your area. However, they're very lenient when it comes to getting approved for this particular business line of credit. And I recommend, of course, asking for $25,000 or less. Don't ask for more than that. And then you can see in a few months if you can raise that limit. And last on our list is going to be US Bank, and this is going to be the Business Cash Flow Manager. You'll be able to recognize it because it's the only product for a line of credit that you can apply for without actually going into a branch. Now, when you want to apply for this, you're going to go to the unsecured. You have access up to $100,000 with no collateral needed, and you're going to go to apply now. Now, before you apply for the U.S. Bank Cash Flow Manager business line of credit, you need to keep in mind of these things noted here. If you haven't been a U.S. Bank customer for at least 12 months, your business must be in one of the following areas. So if your business is not in one of these following states, you need to have an account open with them for at least 1 year before you can apply. Now, in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Texas, the product availability will depend on your zip code. To learn if your zip code qualifies, you need to give them a phone call. Now, for business with multiple owners, just like with the previous one and with all of these, honestly, if they have an ownership stake of 20% or higher, then the minimum ownership must add up to 51% and up to 5 owners can apply. So if you're a single owner, then this won't apply to you. As part of the application process, we'll be requesting a consumer report. So if you've placed a freeze on your information, please consider contacting Equifax and Experian bureaus to unlock your report before applying. For me personally, they pulled just Equifax, but this one lets you know it can be Equifax or Experian. It depends, it can vary, but my recommendation is unfreezing one or the other. That way they can hard pull one of them. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have a particular question about one of these, 2 of them I've already done a video for, but I would be more than happy to make a video on any of these again. If you want more data points, if you want a in-depth review, then let me know. Drop a comment below and I will be more than happy to make that video. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching and you have a wonderful day.